We're just going to start sitting. And we'll start with our breath today, as always. So make yourself at home, get comfy. And maybe have your stuff nearby. If you have blocks, blankets, pillows, stools, water. I don't say that enough, but water is amazing during class. And if you want to start with sensing to anchor ourselves into our meditation, you can kind of look around, maybe touch your skin or the fabric of your clothes, maybe the surface you're sitting on, just to kind of anchor ourselves, noticing any fragrances. And eventually, maybe we'll be able to close our eyes, maybe not, and dive into our meditation. We can watch the breath flow as it passes in and out. And simply welcome yourself to your practice today. We can use our nose to breathe throughout class. Our nose is like one big, great filter for the air. So we're actually cleaning the air, we're purifying it, we're getting more clean breath and oxygen to our brain. So we'll do our best to really use our nose to breathe. And if you feel congested, Kleenex is an awesome pause break to make sure we're really practicing with those big, full nasal breaths. Relax the skin of your face, my friends. It's the end of the day. Hopefully we can fully relax after this. And start that relaxation now. Letting go of stress and tension, if there is any. And if you're neutral, good for you. And if you're radiating joy today, good for you, of course. And maybe we've entered that space of peace, a place of peace. We can imagine a bubble around us and our mat, a space of love, acceptance, and protection. Closing out everything else that's not helpful in that space. We're going to continue with our breath, but this time I'll invite you to close up your left nostril. You can use any hand, any finger. I'm using the pointer finger of my right hand. And just a gentle seal of that nostril. And we'll breathe through our right nostril continuously for several breaths. So this is an invigorating exercise. This breath is going to help us with our digestion. And it'll help us get things moving a little bit here. And at the end of class, we'll do this as we close the right nostril. But for now, to start, it's a right nostril breath breathing exercise. See if we can create a nice and steady breath, a steady pace. And if your arm's getting tired, you can hold the elbow with the other hand. Just a few more breaths here. Great job. And if you're ready to let this go, of course, you're always welcome to finish first. Let's do 3 more cycles of breath. Exhale, release your hands into your lap and take a big breath in through the nose. Press the tongue into the roof of your mouth and big exhale. Let's take 3 really beautiful, big, and conscious breaths. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in and out. Awesome. Okay, let's sit a little bit taller now. Slowly coming out of our meditation. Sit a little bit taller. Root down through the seat bones, lifting the crown of the head. And I did not set an intention yet. Let's take a moment to do that. You can do hand to heart or prayer hands. And if there's any healing you're working on, let's let that be the focus of class today. If there's any goals you're working towards, maybe you want to dedicate your practice to a loved one, or maybe we simply send our mind's eye to a place that brings us the most peace and comfort. Okay, we can begin our movement now. We'll do a twist over to the right hand to left knee, gaze over the left shoulder. Taking some big breaths here. Just a gentle twist, nothing that's too trying on your spine. Just a lift more than anything, a lift upwards. And we'll inhale back to center, go the other way, right hand back, left hand to right knee, gazing over the right shoulder. And inhaling back to center. Great, we're gonna tip over to our left. You can take your hand or your elbow to the floor, or you can bring your fun stuff near you. I usually like to opt in for more support, so I'm gonna take my left elbow to my extra height here. And then we're gonna take our right fingertips and send them behind the ears and then towards the opposite side of the room. And notice that big stretch through the right side body. Create space between the left shoulder and the left ear. And then we're going to take our fingertips and just point them towards the front of the room or towards your computer screen or towards the knees. So it's hovering directly in front of us. Awesome. And then we're going to take our fingertips back to where they were. Notice the shoulder rotation. Breathe into that and see if we can lift up and look up. And we'll just do that 2 more times. So take your right hand forward and then take your right arm back up. Big breath in. And then take the right arm forward. Let's hang out here for a moment. Big breath in and out. And then reach the fingertips back towards the other side of the room. Pull the belly button back and lift the heart up. Awesome. Then we'll take our right hand forward again and just sort of walk ourselves down to the floor in front of us. Let's take a bow and a heavy head with our legs crossed. You can rest your head on your hand. That's always a nice option. If the floor feels really far away today, maybe we can kind of surrender a little bit further. We'll just take 3 more breaths here, 3 more. Okay, press the floor away and come on back up. Find a tall heart and we'll take this the other way. Maybe we bring our stuff with us and let's change the cross of our legs actually. So change the cross. Notice how weird that might feel. Breathing into it for a moment. And then we'll take our right elbow or hand down to whatever you're using. And we'll take our fingertips and reach them towards the opposite side of the room. And create space between the right ear and right shoulder. Lift our heart, look up. Okay, and then take the left fingertips and hover them in front of you. Getting a nice gentle pull through the left side of the neck and shoulder now. And then we'll reach those fingertips, extend them back up and away. Gaze up, look up. Okay, fingertips come directly in front of you and they hold and hover for a moment. And then we'll reach and lift. Belly button back, space between the right ear and right shoulder. And then the left fingertips come back forward and down, and we make our way to that awesome supported bow. Maybe our head is on our hand. Maybe we can take our head closer to the floor, maybe resting on our forearms. And we'll hold for a few long breaths. Three more good rotations of breath here. Big and full, using the nose to breathe. And we'll press the floor away from us to come out. Nice and slow. Rise tall, broad in the heart space, taking a breath in and out. And we'll make our way onto our back from here. We can take our stuff out of the way. And I have a blanket down, it's usually nearby, protect my bones and joints, giving me lots of softness, but also enjoying the benefit of the firm floor as we make our way down. Let's take our arms up overhead and bend the elbows until our arms are completely relaxed on the floor. So they might sort of look like a field goal post, or maybe our fingers are able to touch. But we want to get a nice big heart opener in for a moment. Feet on the floor, knees up. We can take the feet nice and wide. And we'll drop our knees from left to right a few times. Windshield wiping those shins. You can even take your hands behind the head. That's a little cheap. Okay, we'll hug our knees into our chest now. So big inhale, exhale, hug your knees up and in, give them a squeeze. We can pick the head up or take it down. And maybe rock from side to side a little bit here as well. Okay, we are going to do eagle on our back, or Garudasana. If you're familiar, we'll just take our right leg and cross it around the left leg like we're sitting cross-legged, and then see if you can wrap the right toes around the left ankle. So we're basically becoming a pretzel. And then we'll take the right arm underneath the left arm, the elbows cross deeply, and then maybe we even cross our wrists. And we just get to hold this. And it engages the core a little bit. You can intensify that as much or as little as you want. But squeeze the arms and legs together a little bit on an inhale. And then exhale, loosen it up just a little bit. And we'll do that 3 times. Big inhale and squeeze. Exhale, release just a little bit of that squeeze. And a 3rd time, big inhale, squeeze. And then exhale, relax just a little bit. Awesome. We'll hold for 3 breaths. You can continue to squeeze if that felt really awesome to you and useful. Big inhale. Exhale, unwind. We'll just uncross legs and arms and hug our knees into our chest once again. Rock a little bit from side to side. And we're going to extend the left leg long. Keep hugging the right leg in. We can stay as we are, or you can grab the outside edge of the right foot with the right hand and pull your right knee towards the floor beside you for half happy baby. The left hand can gently press on the left thigh. We'll hold for 3 more breaths. Awesome job, my friends. You can relax your left foot on the floor. If your left foot is hovering, give it a rest if you want. Okay, and we'll take the right foot down. Give ourselves a break. Both feet on the floor, knees up, arms up overhead for field goal post arms, and drop our knees from side to side a few times. We can even take the hands behind the head again, kind of like a makeshift pillow. Big inhale. Exhale, hug the body in. Maybe rock a little bit. Now it's time to do that on the other side. So the left leg crosses the right leg, and see if we can get those ankles looped around. And in this case, our left arm goes over the right arm, and maybe we cross wrists. And we'll just pump and squeeze for 3 breaths. And we'll relax for 3 breaths. If you can call it relaxing, we'll try our best. Big inhale. Exhale, unwind, release, hug the knees in, and extend the right leg long. You can let it relax to the floor if you want. And if that's too intense, your right foot to the floor and the knee up is a great alternative. And then we can grab the left foot with the left hand for half happy baby. Gently pressing on the top of the right thigh with the right hand. As we just gently open up for half happy baby. Drawing that thigh towards the floor right next to us. And left foot to floor, right foot on floor, arms up, windshield wipe one more time. Giving ourselves a moment to reset. Great, and we'll take our hands to our belly for a moment to really balance and ground. Find a nice long spine and just take a few cleansing breaths here. Finding steadiness, finding balance, finding support. And depending on your energy levels will come up, you can either roll to the right side of your body, coming to the sleeping position, and slowly make your way up. Or you can rock up, feeling a little more energetic. And we'll eventually make our way into child's pose. So coming towards the back of your mat and opening the knees, bringing the toes together, and finding our head on the floor or on our arms, settling in for a wonderful child's pose. Cleansing breath, non-stop, ceaseless breath. Really settling in, letting the spine lengthen. Let's take 3 more breaths here before entering downward facing dog. Take your time if you want more than that. We'll slowly make our way to down dog when and if you're ready. Child's pose is always welcome, my friends. Fingers nice and open, pressing the heels towards the mat. And I love to start off my down dog with pedaling my feet, bending one knee and then the other knee, kind of wiggling the hips even from side to side. Maybe stillness is in the cards for you today. Lift the belly button nice and high. And press your shoulders towards the feet. Gently press your feet away from each other like you're trying to rip your mat apart. Notice how that engages the low back. Keep lifting the belly. Awesome. Let's step the left foot forward for a really big warrior two. So take that left foot forward and twirl the right heel down, taking both arms inside the left leg. And we can kind of cartwheel those arms up. Sorry, my head's off the screen. But we'll just see if we can widen those hips. So we want to pull the glutes together behind us and sort of broaden and widen the knees. It's a hip opener. Awesome. Try and get your hips to point towards the long edge of your mat if you're using a mat. And we'll take our left arm down to the left knee. Reach your right fingertips towards the floor first, and then point them away from the right leg. So we're making a nice long line from the right toes to the right fingertips. Extended side angle, really big stretch here. Okay, and we'll come back up to a warrior two, arms out or on the hips. That's it, great. And then we'll cartwheel our arms down, step back, downward facing dog. Awesome. Big breath in and out. Lifting the belly. And we'll inhale to high plank pose. You can simply come to child's pose immediately. You can hit the deck immediately, or you can hold this push up for one more breath. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale, lift your heart. Press the feet down, and we'll take a child's pose all together. Awesome job. Give yourself a break. Maybe the knees come together this time for child's pose. We get to relax and settle here, catch up with ourselves, finding the present, body, mind, and spirit in the present. Three more breaths here. And we'll come into downward facing dog. Take your time if you're not quite ready. We'll come into down dog. Walking it out, perhaps. Lifting the belly. Maybe pressing the feet away from one another. Finding what feels most useful for you today. if you're overwhelmed by doing it all at the same time. And when you're ready, we'll do warrior two with our right foot forward. Is that right? Did we do that already? No, that's right. And we'll take our arms inside the leg, cartwheel the arms up, and get into a nice wide stance. So the goal here is to be opening the hips, knees kind of start pulling behind you, glutes squeeze behind you. Wonderful. And when you're ready, we'll take the right elbow to right knee. Take your fingertips, left fingertips towards the floor, and then reach them away from you. See if you can lift your heart, just like we did earlier, sitting down. Seeing if we can lift and open that heart space. Okay, and then the left fingertips swing back down. We'll come back up to our warrior two, and we'll cartwheel the arms down, step back, downward facing dog. You can go straight to child's pose, or you can do a vinyasa with me. Inhale, high plank pose, top of a push-up. Exhale, slowly lower, hit the deck. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, child's pose. Give yourself a break. Cleansing breath in and out. And we'll take several more breaths here. So keep relaxing. And when you're ready, we'll sit back on those heels. So if you have a blanket, I'd recommend sitting on your blanket. We'll sit on the heels, finding a lifted heart. And we'll just roll those shoulders up and back a few times. Up and then back and down. Up, back, and down. One more time. Okay, I lied. Two more times, because 3 is a good number. 3. Awesome. So keeping a nice broad heart space with the shoulders relaxed and back. We'll do a few head rotations one way first. Nice and slow. Maybe we're hearing some cricks and cracks work their way out as we get at that connective tissue. Change directions. And then we'll find a neutral chin, neutral head. And we'll lean back, take your hands behind you and see if you can pick your knees up a little bit. We'll stretch out the ankles, the fronts of the feet, tops of the toes. Awesome, and then we'll come back down and make our way back into downward facing dog. Having that blanket where your knees are gonna go is gonna be great. We'll be doing some low lunging. So we'll take it back to downward facing dog. Lifting the belly up. And we'll step forward to the front of the mat first. Inhale, halfway lift, feet wide, knees bent. Find a nice flat back. Keep lifting your belly. Exhale, forward fold, slight bend in the knees, and then the arms and head get to hang out. Maybe we grab opposite elbows. Maybe shaking the head, yes and no. But taking some cleansing breaths, however you find yourself. Just a few more breaths here. If you want to rock back and forth on your feet, like they're rocking chair legs, I love doing that. And then we'll bend one knee and then the other knee, kind of swaying in the hips a little bit. Great. And we'll bend both knees now, sink down into the hips, and lift your arms up for chair pose. We'll take a chair pose for 3, 2, belly back, 1. Awesome. Exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Great. Let's stay in mountain pose for a few breaths. Just a few here. Mountain pose. And we're going to roll the shoulders up and back a few times again. Shoulders up and back, up and back, up and back. And then we'll interlace our fingers behind our head, lean back, look up, and we're going to try and bend through the upper back. So try and keep that low back pressing down and forward, and see if we can bend through the upper back as we lean back and look up. Exhale, release your hands on down and just give them a gentle shake. Open and close the fingers. And we'll do eagle arms. So cross the elbows, see if you can cross the hands, and then lift the arms up. Belly button pulls back. We'll hold this for a few breaths. Big inhale, exhale, release, and we'll take the cross the other way. Big inhale, exhale, release. Awesome. Let's be a washing machine for a moment. So feet wide, and we just kind of swing our arms and let our hands hit our hips. Sometimes it's called the washing machine. It makes sense. Slight bend. Great. Okay, we'll come to the front of our mat and step our right knee back for our low lunge. So you can have your blanket where you need it. And we'll take our right knee to our blanket, left foot forward, and just sink into a comfy low lunge. So just coming down, and we can have more props with us actually. If you're a props person, like I am, we'll just sink down, and maybe we find our hands on our support. Maybe our elbows can even come to the floor, and you can take both arms inside the left leg. So it can evolve into a lizard if you want, but if we're using supports, it might be able to stay somewhat of a low lunge. And we'll just breathe deeply into that right hip. You can even take your head to your hand, which is a nice option. finding your deep stretch. Maybe we're chasing sensation today, and maybe we're kind of being soft and easy on ourselves. Maybe we even, if we're using lizard, if we feel comfortable with lizard, maybe we even roll that left knee open and kind of sink a little bit more. Let's take 5 more breaths, however you find yourself. And we'll very slowly lift ourselves back into a more upright low lunge. Pulling ourselves all the way up and back. Great. And then we'll take that left knee underneath us. Let's take a tabletop briefly. Just take a tabletop. And let's take a few cat-cows. Lifting the rib cage nice and high. And then dropping the belly, lifting the chin. All right, and when you're ready, we'll take the right foot forward. We'll do low lunge on the other leg, taking whatever variation works best for you. I like to use something tall inside my right leg, and you can come down onto the elbows. You can rest your head on your hand. And maybe as this pose progresses, as we stay a little bit longer, we eventually evolve into sort of a lizard. Our right knee can kind of wing open, opening up like a door a little bit as we roll on the pinky edge of the foot if you want, or we can keep it more of a low lunge. Totally up to you. Taking some cleansing breaths. We're definitely slowing down. We'll stay for 5 more breaths, wherever you are. Okay, slowly lift those hips up, pull the knee in, come back to our low lunge, and we'll make our way into tabletop one more time. Let's do a few cat-cows. Lifting the belly high and then low. And maybe we just gaze over the left shoulder, look at the left hip, and then alternate, so kind of wagging our tail, if you will. Awesome. Alrighty, we are going to set up for frog pose or manduka. So we need some blankets for that. And We'll open our blankets pretty wide. So open your blanket up nice and wide. And we'll take our knees really wide as they want to go. And we try and get our shins parallel with one another. So you can't quite see, but the knees are apart and the shins are going to be trying to stay parallel. Rather than the toes touching or coming inwards, we want to open those feet up a little bit. And then you can come down onto your elbows. You can come down onto blankets or supports. And try and keep your hips in line with the knees. So the hips might be falling back a little bit. See if you can take them forward a bit. That's it, Nicole. Yeah, if you can bring them forward a little bit, you might get a deeper stretch. Awesome. And we're in frog pose. And we get to relax our whole torso a little bit. The only thing you really can focus on if you want is practicing to lift the belly up just a little bit. But there's definitely a lot of room here to give and relax. If you want to take your head in your hand. Or maybe we feel like we can take our head to our forearms or a blanket or a pillow or the floor. But it's a really big stretch through the inner thighs. Just breathing and relaxing here. Let's stay for 7 more breaths. Of course, you're welcome to come out sooner. Coming out of it is not always the most graceful thing. So we can wiggle and worm ourselves out of this pose. And we'll just take an immediate child's pose. I like to close my knees together and just bow straight back down to feel the low back open up and relax a little bit, pressure off. And we'll take 3 more breaths here. Okay, guys, it's time for the last pose of class before Shavasana. So let's make our way onto our back. You can have your stuff around you for support, pillows. We'll slowly make our way down. We'll keep our feet on the floor, knees up for a moment. Lift those hips up once, scoop them under and set them back down, connecting with the surface area of our back. And we're going to take our right ankle and cross it over the left leg. Hug your knees in, interlacing the fingers behind the left leg. Our leg kind of makes the figure 4. And we gently pull the legs towards us. The right elbow can press the right leg away if that's available. But we're getting a really big stretch through the right hip. We can activate and squeeze our knee and our ankle together, or we can take a more surrendering approach. Let's take 5 more breaths. Uncross. Let's take happy baby before we do the other leg. And then we'll settle for Shavasana. But let's take a really big happy baby. Maybe rocking feels good. Maybe you like the stillness. Whatever you're doing, let that breath flow. And we'll change our cross now. Left ankle to right thigh. Maybe we interlace our fingers the weird way and then hug our legs in. Maybe we can use our elbow to press the leg away. Maybe we can create tension between ankle and knee. And maybe we find a little bit more surrender here. Five more breaths. And we'll uncross. If there's any last minute movements you want to make, feel free. And then make yourself at home in Shavasana corpse pose. We'll do left nostril breathing. So have your hands handy, but make your way comfy. Settling in. I'll give us a few minutes here. A minute or so to get situated before we start left nostril breathing. Blankets, sweaters, socks. Bringing it all close, bringing it around us, building a cocoon. Let go of effort, let go of trying. And when you're ready, we'll use our finger to plug up the right nostril very gently, just a gentle press, and we'll breathe in and out through the left nostril. And when you're ready to stop, I'll give a cue, but when you're ready to stop, just enter Shavasana. Let the hands open up, the arms open up, and just take corpse pose. We'll take big breaths in and out the left nostril, not pulling too hard the breath, more so letting it float, just letting it float in and out, but making them nice and full. So filling up capacity and then emptying. And this left nostril breathing helps us to relax and let go and find some peace and ease in the breath, the body, the mind. Pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth. Three more cycles of breath. Big inhale. Exhale. Release your hands and arms into corpse pose. And simply watch the breath flow in and out your nose. Let your limbs be open and soft and heavy. And let yourself be completely supported by the floor. Let the head be heavy. Let your feet and hands be heavy. The fingers and the toes relaxed completely. Enjoying the peace and quiet of this moment. See if you can let go a little bit more. Begin to deepen your breath. Wiggle the fingers and the toes. And draw the head from side to side. Maybe even licking the lips, the teeth, and the gums. And we'll roll to the right side of our body, resting our head on our arm like a pillow. Coming to the sleeping position. Feel the weight and warmth of your body. Maybe coming back to whatever goals, dedications, or intentions you set. And we'll come back to a seated posture, nice and slow, living in our bubble a little bit longer here. Enjoying whatever feelings of peace and calmness you're experiencing. Holding those close to your heart, remembering what that feels like. Take a few more moments to notice how you feel after class as we observe the breath and the body. Maybe there's a certain weightlessness or a certain height, maybe even a confidence. Bringing our hands to prayer at heart center and bowing our heads in gratitude. Namaste.